Everybody, welcome back to the Center Lane, a political discussion for those of us in the middle who just want our politicians to get something done, get along. Compromise is not a four-letter word. Compromise is okay. So what's going on with our president this week, President Trump? Well, he had a couple wins. We'll start out with the positives for sure. He got that American hostage out of Gaza this week alive, which is seemed to be something that's pretty rare nowadays. I guess they still have a few more hostages left that are alive, but there's a lot of unknowns there. But he got one out, and that's great news, and for the family and everything, that's wonderful. He's in Saudi Arabia. I got mixed feelings about that because that part of the world, I guess you can call them frenemies, not enemies, but not friends either. I'm always a little suspicious, obviously, of Saudi Arabia because, first off, 13 of the 16 terrorists in 9/11 were Saudi nationals, so that always bothers me. And also that prince, that's who's in charge now, having the journalist killed a few years ago. That's kind of gotten washed under the rug now. So I have mixed feelings about that. I know that them buying things from us is great and it's good for our economy. Of course, what they say and what they actually do are two different things. Be advised of that. They had promised hundreds of billions of dollars last time Trump was president. I think they spent about 20. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. But it's good news that we're trying to, it's going to help our industries here. So that's good, I guess. But I definitely keep an eye on those guys. I thought it was something interesting too. The tariffs. I guess the China thing has been relieved down to where we're only charging 30 or 35% tariffs versus the 145, which is kind of interesting because that's kind of what Trump wanted in the first place. And it made me think. Maybe you've read this book called The Prince. It's by Nino Machiavelli. It's a Machiavellian from the 15th, 16th century. It's actually a book, it's a satire, because back then if you were to criticize the government, they chop your head off or whatever. So he wrote a satire called The Prince. And some people say it's a handbook for fascism. They say Mussolini used to sleep with it underneath his pillow. Mussolini was the head of Italy during World War II and a friend of Hitler's. But one thing in The Prince I found interesting, I thought Trump kind of uses some of this technique. Maybe he doesn't even know he's doing it. But in The Prince, it says, the prince will take everything away from the people. He'll come in, he'll take everything away from you. Or you're like, in this case, he took away our trade with China. Charge 145% tariff, so nobody can pay that, right? But what the prince does after he's taken everything away, he gives you a little bit back. He gives you a little bit back. And all of a sudden you love him because, oh my God, this guy's giving me stuff back. He's okay. He's all right. But guess what? He still got that 35% tariff that he wanted on China. So, he kind of like took 145. 35 don't sound so bad now. 35 sounded not so great before. Now it sounds good. So just thought that was a little interesting. Some of that technique that take everything away, barnstorm everything, then start giving stuff back a little bit. People will, they'll praise you for it. Another thing that I was thinking is going on in the world of politics is where's Elon and where's JD Vance? They both kind of disappeared off the map. Elon Musk with Doge, obviously he's got trouble with Tesla now, and Doge wasn't his right idea, wrong way of implementing it. That's the bottom line. It's good to get rid of government waste. Everybody would agree with that, but they went with the jackhammer, and it was, and they didn't really get a whole lot of results. The numbers they claim and the numbers they actually got, not so good. And also getting rid of some of the talent that we had. When you're just firing people happensack, you're losing some really good people in there too. And getting them back could be difficult or impossible. So I wouldn't call Doge a success. The idea is still good, but I think now slow it down. Elon's disappeared. JD Vance has disappeared. You notice that? You haven't heard much from him these past 2 or 3 weeks. You know why? It's because he says things that are conflict with what Trump is thinking, or he says things, he gets ahead of himself. And I think Trump said, okay, you know what? Vice president should be seen and not heard. So go to the back of the line, dude. But somebody who's come up, risen to the top of all this is Marco Rubio. He's actually, now of course he's our national security advisor and our Secretary of State. So that's kind of an interesting and dual role. But I mean, Trump is really starting to confide in him. And Rubio, I got to give him credit. The guy's smart. He's kind of threaded the needle with Trump because and maybe he's able to appeal to Trump's better side because, I think that's something that's necessary, as well as the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. Those two guys have really kind of come through out of all this fog and all this confusion. They seem like they're kind of like taking us on maybe perhaps a more disciplined path. And I think Trump is starting to listen to them a little bit. So I'm very, very hopeful. And, Rubio wants to be president. And I think yeah, I got to give the guy credit. He's pretty slick. I mean, he's doing the MAGA thing. And he's, saying the right things to Trump that keep Trump happy. But also, he's getting through to Trump and some of the things that, look at Ukraine. Okay, for example, Rubio was a huge defender of Ukraine and what we were doing before. Trump comes in and says, oh, I don't know, these guys are taking money, blah, blah, blah. So Rubio's smart. He goes, you know what? Let's do this mineral deal, because in Trump's mind, he's a transactional guy. It's all about the money. You're ripping me off because I'm giving you this. You're not giving me anything back, that kind of thing. So Rubio said, okay. He worked out the deal with the mineral rights. Now, what's going to happen with that over time is we have to be seen, but it does a couple things in the meantime. For one thing, it puts Russia on its back foot, because now all of a sudden we're in cahoots, or we're partners in Trump's mind with Ukraine. Those are our partners. We got minerals over there we want to get and stuff. Trump's and Russia's in there, they're messing up our deal. So it's pretty smart. So I think that it's good that perhaps Putin has gotten a little bit of pressure. He was playing us for fools a couple months ago, especially Trump. He was leading them along and talking crap. But I think Rubio actually I think history might show that Rubio actually brought us around full center and a more positive position for the people of Ukraine. And any way we can weaken Russia, or not the Russian people so much, but Putin, any way we can weaken his government, because Putin wants a war. The war is what's keeping him in power. If the war's over, the people are going to, they're not going to be thinking about protecting Mother Russia anymore, and they're going to start turning against him again. And he knows that. Trust me, he knows that. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I want to give Rubio his props, because I think he might, potentially this could come out, better than expected. So that's the best we can hope for. People are still dying. There's nothing great about that, and we need that to stop. But I think that he's got he's figuring out Trump. He's just figuring out how the guy thinks a little bit. So that's pretty cool. Okay, that's it for now. Hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget, I got my free novel on there. It's called The Bear. It's about a serial killer. It's a free audiobook. Just go on the link there and check it out. And I hope you enjoy that as well. Have a great day.